second straight day of padded practice, and here's middle linebacker Miles Jack on lining up against Patriots quarterback Tom Brady next week.
Let's see. I need to share that.
Yeah. I did a lot of that. A lot downtown. It's a track to go up to the airport from where I'm at.
Stay tuned for Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. We'll be on from 7 to 9, followed by Hacker After Dark. He'll take over until midnight, right here on 1010XL.
Oh my goodness. I need my... No, not on the page.
Ladies, do you feel the way I do that football is back?
I'm very excited.
Super excited!
Do you feel like football is back, or do you feel like
No,
it's
not
almost
yet.
here?
Almost. Next week I will feel it.
Next week when the Jaguars get to go up against the Patriots?
Yes.
You know,
I do
Tyler,
love the heel tones. Heel tones are pretty good.
I was going through some rundowns for the kickoff show presented by Sawyer Gas that Blythe and I and Tony did last year. And I found that we only got to play, it's going to be a Jags day, 3 times.
That's it?
Outside of the very first show when we decided we would play it after every Jaguars victory.
I mean, apparently the
So therefore,
Jags...
we only got to play it 3 times.
Apparently the Jags played it all the time. So I think they made up for it.
Yeah, I think that song needs to disappear because it led to not so great of a season. We will talk a ton of Jaguars tonight on the show. We're going to get into the comments that Jamal Adams made, the safety out of LSU. He's now a rookie with the Jets. He said he wouldn't mind dying in a football field. We'll certainly discuss that. LaVar Ball continues to be in the news. That makes some people want to throw up, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, he needs to stay in his lane. The shortest time we've ever spent at a job, and of course we'll have a dose of Daly's Place and a Peterbrook chocolate heel to give away, which we're actually going to give that away a little differently tonight, so stay tuned for that. But let's kick things off and get started with the most important person on the football field, number 5 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Blake Bortles. He had 2 good practices last week to kick things off. Then he had 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions against teammates, really 2 teammates, Saturday night under the lights in front of a bunch of season ticket holders. And then he's since had better practices yesterday and today. You guys aren't necessarily getting to be out there, but you certainly follow along with it. How did you feel after Saturday night, and really what is your approach to this entire quarterback situation if you're head coach Doug Marrone?
Well, I enjoyed his press conference afterwards when I believe it was possibly the second follow-up question. Do you feel like you need to give Blake Bortles encouragement? And his simple response was, if I do have to do that now, we're in trouble. I'm like, bravo. Yeah. No, you don't have to give the guy encouragement. He's been in the league for a few years now. Either he knows what to do or he doesn't know what to do. He knows how to rebound or he doesn't know how to rebound. We still have yet to see a bounce back from all the mistakes, but I enjoyed listening to Marrone about it. There was nothing good. There was, well, there's some good things. There's, he knows this and it's that and it's this. There was nothing jolly. It was, matter of fact, and it needs to be fixed or something needs to change.
Do you think it was a pressure-related situation where it's like a mental breakdown almost, where, oh my gosh, all kinds of season ticket holder fans, it was record crowds, I think, for this. They had to go, that the fans had to stand in the overflow area, but maybe it was a mentality or a mental breakdown. We've seen him do this in the past where it's just embarrassing interceptions. It's not just 1 or 2 and then, throwing into tight coverage. They're embarrassing interceptions and they just seem to compile. So I wonder if it's just a mental breakdown, maybe just a brain fart. But at this point in his career, it's just some of the same old. And keep your advice for Jaguar fans, keep your expectations low as far as this position is concerned, because it could very well be a case where Bortles is sat halfway through the year and we see somebody like a Henne or Brandon Allen come in.
And so who would you play if Bortles doesn't get off to the good start that he's certainly hoping for and the fan base is? who would you start right out the gates?
Allen. Without a doubt, you start Allen. If you don't bring anybody else in as far as like quarterback competition, I know Kaepernick is sort of, his name has been thrown around a little bit, but if you don't bring anybody else in, you know what you have with Henne. What you don't know is what you have with Allen. And I think that you take the risk on Allen and you just cut ties with Bortles. Because I think we all know the inevitable. I believe most sports fans know the inevitable of what's going to happen with Blake in this franchise.
Yeah, preseason should be saved just for Allen.
Yeah.
Just to see, all right, well, here's your test. We got to see what we got now. Because you might be thrown into the fire come week 1.
And I guess I debate a little bit on the we know what we have in Chad Henne. I feel like that's the easiest thing that people have said over the last 2 years.
He is one of the strongest backups. He's a backup. He is a patchwork, player. He is not meant to be our starter. I wouldn't put all my faith in Chad Henne for a full season. But if somebody goes down, we're one of the lucky few teams to say we have a decent backup.
But I'd rather put the hungry guy in instead of the guy who's complacent with this job.
I agree.
Henne knows he's going to be a backup for the rest of his career.
And he's happy with that, and he's strong at it.
Right.
And that's what I'm happy about. Like, he's good, done.
And see, in watching practice every day, I think that Chad Henne looks a lot better than Brandon Allen. So I'm not willing to say to the other 52 guys on the team, hey, I just want to see what I've got in this kid. We drafted him for a reason. All those lines that, you hear. I would way rather take someone who has NFL experience, who probably didn't have the best team around him when he was on the Dolphins. And I'd rather say, all I need you to do is manage a game. The defense is spectacular, at least according to what we hope, right? And the special teams are going to be way more improved, assuming that all that goes according to plan. I would rather put someone out there that at least can read defenses and can get the ball out quickly, which is exactly what Chad Henne does, and has a familiarity with this team since obviously he's been here for a long time. So I understand. Last year I was all about, when Blake was not playing well, I was all about put Allen in, see what you've got. The season is over. But if things are going somewhat well other than Blake's not playing well, then I don't really want to go and say, well, let's see what we have. I want to say to the rest of the team, we're going to put the guy in there that has the best chance to win. And if that turns out to where they can give the ball to Chad and he finds guys over the middle, he's not necessarily throwing a bunch of deep balls, but he's able to keep the offense to actually keep the ball and not turn it over. And if Leonard Fournette is able to run the ball, and maybe with a mixture of Chris Ivory, that to me seems like an actual plan that could take the Jaguars from 3-13 to possibly 7-9 or 8-8.
I mean, I guess so, but I've read other reports in camp that Allen has looked significantly better than Henne, and he ran a pro-style offense whenever he was quarterback for the Arizona Razorbacks. So I think that there's more upside with Allen versus just sticking with the same old with Henne.
Like with Henne, when I say we know what we got with Henne, it's me saying he doesn't need to practice with the first team at every practice. He doesn't need to be starter for every preseason game. I'm saying let's put Allen up there. Let's get him reps with the first team. Put him in there starting first, come preseason, week 1, 2, whatever it is. And then you have Henne. If anything, I know that we've had a lot of good, I guess, from Bortles instead of that Saturday night, which was a lot of bad. But if we see any of that lot of bad, I'm demoting him all the way. You're going to see this quarterback that's sitting behind you, you're going behind him. That's where you need to practice there and get your head straight.
Yeah, I think, at least in my mind, if they bench Bortles, that means he's benched for good. They're not picking up the option, and obviously his career in Jacksonville is over. We hope that doesn't happen. We talk so much about the downside of this quarterback in Jacksonville because that's what we've had to go off of the last year.
We want him to be good.
Right. And
we're not begging for them to sit him. We want to see good.
Right. But it's also a reality perception at this point. He's not the guy. And he's proven to be not the guy. And even if he is 2015 good, where a lot of those stats are garbage time, that's the common argument against him, he's not going to be good enough to win in the playoffs. That's just, you can look at all the playoff numbers for the past 5 years, and you have to be a top 10 quarterback in order to win in the playoffs. It's enough maybe for some fan bases to get there, but you have to get there and do damage when you're there. And if the most important position on the field doesn't have it, then you're not going to win. That's point blank, period.
And I don't want to rehash anything when it goes to Colin Kaepernick and the history, but there were Jaguars fans last week that had signs that said sign Colin Kaepernick. So I'll just ask you a simple yes or no. Donna, I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but Blag, would you sign Colin Kaepernick, yes or no?
Bring him in. Kick the tires on him, but I don't. This is similar to Tim Tebow. You don't want your backup quarterback to outshine your starter, no matter who it is. And I'm not saying outshine, but media attention-wise. The backup quarterback position is meant to be a silent clipboard holder, and that's not going to happen with Kaepernick. I don't think he'll necessarily work in this market because it is a very pro-military, it's a southern town. I don't think that Kaepernick would work here, but competition-wise, you need to prove to your fan base that you're addressing the most important position on the field. And maybe they're doing it because they want to sort of sit back and not play the best players available so they can get a really good draft spot. We know the Jets are going to do it. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, has admitted to doing that in the past. That's really the only way that you can build your franchise is if you do tank. And maybe the Jaguars are going to do it. Maybe they won't. But I would definitely bring in competition at any level.
So that would be a yes, you might sign him. Donna?
No.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I think most people are in the no camp. Not so much even because of the military ties and all that jazz, but I think in reality it's you want your quarterback to be a guy that is a pro-style quarterback, and Colin Kaepernick is not, and he wasn't able to beat out Blaine Gabbert and blah, blah, blah. So I think that's more where people would say, let's just look at it on a football level and move on from there. We are asking you tonight, if you want to win the Peterbrooke Chocolate Heel, text into the 1010XL text line driven by Duval Ford. Your answer to this question: what should be the theme song for the Jaguars this year? What should be the theme song for the Jaguars this year? Text into 641-1010. And we will pick our winner, and that winner will take home the Peterbrooke Chocolate Heel. So you have all show to submit your answers. We will also tell you ours when we come back. We'll also get into Brandon Albert and more on training camp. You're listening to Helmets and Heels built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Hello. What up, what up? Welcome in, Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to the show, we do this every Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. We do the live stream on here. If you also want to listen to us on radio, you can tune into 92.5 FM if you're here locally in Jacksonville, or on 1010 AM stations. What do we got coming up next? We're picking songs. Wait, we're picking songs. We're going to talk Brandon Albert, mysterious retirement. What else are we going to talk about? LaVar Ball.
What do you say?
One of you guys said Arizona Razorbacks instead of Arkansas Razorbacks. And he called in. He wanted to call you guys out on the air.
Yeah, that was probably me.
Yeah, you missed up. Whatever.
Arizona instead of Arkansas.
And I'm like, oh, you're that type of person? He's like, well, you suck my dick, faggot.
Oh,
Dang.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, meant to say Arkansas Razorbacks.
So make sure you come back and be like,
And he's
oh,
like,
my
yo,
bad.
there's fucking chicks out here that no one wants to listen to. And I'm like, well, you're listening right now.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you gotta love some guys.
Stan, how are you?
I am. How are you?
Great.
You had me
That's
confused.
done. That's done.
Awesome. Oh, if I can only spell sweet.
No.
Little man will be excited.
Yeah. Then you can give this to JT. It's green and it's naked.
Yeah,
But
Arkansas.
it's not the right. it's
Sorry
not the-
about that. If you
Make it
heard
different.
Arizona, I meant Arkansas.
Thank you.
Misspoke.
Yeah, I mean-
They'll be happy. This is gonna make his day.
But we have a
He's
caller
gonna take
that's
those to the
very
beach.
upset
They have a field trip
that
to
I
the
called
beach
him
tomorrow.
Arizona. Very
Nope,
upset.
I'm all set. Thank you.
He's harassing Tyler.
He goes, why don't you suck my dick, faggot? Why would you say that and then call me the faggot if you're asking me to suck your dick?
So it's sort of a.
You're kind of, yeah.
He is a very nice fellow. You should have.
I'm sure he's very nice. Thank you for watching.
Is your name LaVar?
He's a very happy home life.
Everything is perfect in his life.
My goodness.
I've never, unless it's like a.
Did you get my email, Tyler?
I haven't checked.
Oh, thank you, Stan. You're awesome.
It was delicious.
What's that?
Thank you again. The Chardonnay.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember how to pronounce it, but
We have dinner.
like Chapelet.
No tiara
Chapelet.
tonight. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Chapelet or something.
You had me confused with the Sally Calhoun.
Ridiculous.
Oh, I was saying like hamburger with a salad or something.
Oh.
Brand.
Okay, I had tacos.
Oh.
Somebody said tacos.
Oh,
You
that
said-
was before she
She
responded.
said tacos, right?
So, I really like that.
We have
That's
this.
Awesome. Well, thank you. You didn't have to go to two places.
Oh no, because then I didn't know what kind of salad
Yeah,
you
and a
did.
side of Epic
my
sauce.
goodness.
Shout out to
Green
Epic
salad.
Burger.
You're so sweet.
Look at these
Thank
fries.
you.
If you guys have never
Now I
had
get
the
to
buffalo
decide.
bacon
Yeah.
fries,
They're
can you
tacos
see
and
that?
enchiladas.
There's queso
Oh
in
my
there.
gosh. Donna, I hope you're hungry.
What else? There's buffalo sauce,
I'm
clearly,
eating my
chives, bacon,
My green cheese.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Okay, so
phenomenal.
And look at my
nice.
salad. It's a salad.
It looks like nothing. 'Cause that's
This is awesome.
Thank you, Stan.
Taco
You rock.
Tuesday.
Stan is a loyal listener, and he
Taco
brings
Tuesday
us
from
dinner
Senor.
every week.
Is it from
Si,
Senor?
senor.
That's what I wanted.
That's awesome. We don't have any better commercial than Si Senor. Every time I hear it, I perk up. Si Senor.
I don't know. I'm getting a little concerned.
Si,
I
senor.
get more and more ED commercials, you know.
Yeah, that's true. They're not allowed to play those on our show, though.
Yes.
Really?
Did you hear my voice?
On just our show or the radio station in general?
Oh no, radio station full of it.
Our show
Yeah.
and Jaguars today.
Yeah.
What
nothing
is
for
it not
Jaguars.
allowed?
Did you hear my voice on one of
Did you
them?
hear that?
Yeah.
They're not
No.
allowed to
You
play
can't hear
erectile dysfunction commercials
God.
on our show.
I didn't tell my husband I was doing those.
The only show. Well, us and
Just
Jaguars
in case anybody
today.
asks. So,
That's amazing.
No,
heard your wife do this commercial.
Are there any
The
other
audience.
commercials that aren't allowed on
Yes.
our show versus other shows? What other ones?
Well, it's because it deals with clients,
Okay.
you know?
Okay. So it's not like ED.
Mm-mm.
oh, don't laugh, okay?
I just sure did laugh.
Thanks, Mike.
Wait, what is this?
What are we
Oh,
coming
an
back
onion
with?
Did
ring. Yeah.
they get it right?
Sorry, I took you.
They did it
right in your
perfect.
bite.
Okay.
I'll wait
These
till you
fries are so
chew.
good.
We're going to give our song choice for the theme song, and then
Okay.
Brandon Albert.
Okay.
All right, ladies, y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Stan. You too.
JT is gonna love it. Thank you.
Okay.
Come back in 30 seconds.
We're each going to give a theme song for the Jags.
We need a theme song for the Jaguars this year, so if you have any good ones, leave a comment
Remind me of show.
on the Facebook video. Also, remember to like and share. That really helps get the exposure out there for us. We don't pay for any advertising of this show. Yeah, we
Thanks,
don't.
sir.
Yeah, we don't pay for any advertising of the show. So every little bit helps.
Aw,
But
Chris
pick
Sale.
your favorite song, put it in the comments, and we'll read them on air later
Sale.
on. As long as
What's
it's a
up?
good song.
Built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Donna Murphy, Blythe, Brumley, and Lauren Brooks alongside you. Of course, with Tyler Devitt making it all happen. Jaguars Training Camp Day 5 happened today. We are asking you to pick the theme song for this Jaguars season. Last year, it's going to be a Jags Day. We created that ourselves internally here at 1010XL. Well, it didn't go so well. So let's just go ahead and pick a song that already exists, and we'll run with it. You can submit your answers via the text line, driven by Duval Ford. That would be 641-1010. Is this your offering up, Tyler?
Someone suggested this in the Duval Ford text line, but
Okay.
I'm jumping on it. Let's do it.
I like it.
This would be
Yeah.
Queen, as a matter of fact. And D-Murph, I'm going to kick it off with you. This was your question, so I
Yeah.
know you're going to have a really good answer.
Stop.
And you
I
heard-
just saw the lyrics. I'm sorry.
Seriously. Okay. So mine, I have wanted the Jaguars to play this song on the big jumbotrons forever.
Okay.
For a night game, play this. You have really good graphics. But this is what, to me, that the team needs to convey to the fan base. Okay, I know that we're doing this, but you all need to stand by me with my decisions I'm making. This goes for Dave Caldwell. This goes for Marone. This goes for Shad Khan. This goes for Tom Coughlin. They need to say, stand by me. Everything will be okay.
So Stand By Me.
Yes, but this version, this is KI Theory. And apparently it just aired on Fear the Walking Dead as well. And if anybody's like, this sounds familiar. But
It's definitely not familiar to me.
Yeah, I saw the lyrics and I'm like, oh, I know this song, and now
know
I'm
this
listening
song.
to it. I don't know this
well,
song.
this is more, I feel this is more of a badass version. You know?
This is
I like
intense.
it. It is very intense.
This is
I first heard it on the show The Following
okay.
with Kevin Bacon.
All
And I
right.
loved it.
The following Walking Dead. I mean, that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense for this Jaguar
That would
season.
be exactly why.
Should I tumble and fall? The mountain should crumble to the sea. Everything is just falling apart, but still stand by me. Yes, to me, that is what they need to
I
convey.
definitely prefer the original over this one, but I like where you're coming from.
Oh, I love this one. I run to this one.
That
It's on my
makes
running
sense.
list.
Yeah, I guess in theory could make you want to run through a wall. To me, I would just need headache medicine. But I'm not anti your pick. I like it. All right, Blythe, what is yours?
I had a few songs, but I'm going to go with this one because I feel like the lyrics just match it the best. Young Stars by the Struts. They talk about never giving up, never giving in, whatever blew up, whatever caved in. Said I'm never going to let it get under my skin because I've been riding the waves. I paid my dues. Now I'm here on the stage breaking the news. So I feel like that's
Who is
a
that
good.
by?
It's called the Struts. They're
Okay.
kind of like, I would say, a modern version of an 80s rock band. And they have a ton of good songs.
I've
I
seen them on
highly,
Conan
highly.
a lot.
comes.
Yeah?
I think they're on Conan a lot.
This is it.
It works.
I like it.
Yeah,
Like it? Okay, good. Yeah.
I do like it. Very much so.
That's a very hard thing to do to get both Lauren and Donna to agree on a song that I pick.
It is hard, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense when you're trying to think of the team and yeah.
And it's called Young Stars, so we do have a lot of young stars on this team
At
that
least we have young players.
Yeah.
Not yet stars.
Jalen is a savior.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully.
he's not participating in training camp right now.
That's
so-
fine. We don't need him to get hurt. That's fine.
Well, he's already hurt. That's
No,
fine.
I mean that it's like the pull and pray method during this time of the year. You just hope that no one gets hurt. Just get to opening day. Is it really called opening day in NFL season?
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Opening week.
Opening week?
I would just say season opener.
Season opener. Okay, I like that.
Kicks off. All right, my song is a song that both of you know. It's not new, but I believe that with the Tom Coughlin regime, this song fits All the Small Things by Blink-182.
Okay.
I like
Because not only
Yeah.
does Tom Coughlin instill that doing all the small things is going to get you to where you need to be, but it also says you'll be at my show watching, waiting, commiserating. So that is kind of what has happened, but it's up to, there we go. It's up to Tom Coughlin to turn it around.
I
He
thought
doesn't love
we were
punk
going to get
rock,
like a.
you know?
There is a song by Glenn Campbell. I thought we were going to get a True Grit song, seeing how Tom Coughlin talked about.
Oh,
That'd probably be a little too slow.
Still, it was funny.
I did have DNA
I
by
like
Kendrick as a backup option, but I didn't think we could play that on the radio.
So I asked this question to you guys because last year, before I think was it before the Super Bowl or after? Either way, I heard Katy Perry's "Rise," and you really listened to the lyrics, and in no lie does everything in that lyrics match New England. I go, this is absolutely ridiculous. When the vultures start circling, I take it as the Falcons. When she talks about, gosh, I'm looking at it. No matter how you shake my core, my roots, they run deep. I call on my angels, which I'm thinking of Edelman making that catch. You know, I will always rise. I will not negotiate. I mean, it's hilarious. I'll fight it. I will trust. I was like, this is beyond perfect for last year. I was like, so that got me thinking, what could the Jags make into theirs? And then it just gets depressing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the suggestions that we get on the text line, and of course, we will pick a winner later in the show, and that person will win the Peterbrooke chocolate
Yum.
peel tonight. All right, ladies, Jaguars left tackle was supposed to be a position battle this training camp, and it was up until yesterday morning when Brandon Albert, who was traded to the Jaguars from the Dolphins, decided to hang up his cleats. He spent 6 days in a Jaguars uniform between 3 days at mandatory minicamp and 3 training camp practices, only 1 padded practice, and certainly he was getting back into the swing of things when it comes to football after an injury that he had, and then also, of course, you know, not being in the best of shape at 32 after sitting out for a while. So what exactly do you think motivated him to retire? Blythe, I'll start with you.
I think he got into the motions of it and just didn't feel like giving. It takes a lot to go to a new organization and try to give everything that you have, because it's not just the play on the field. It's getting accustomed to the community. It's buying a home, moving your family. If he has kids, it's getting his kids into a new school system. There's a lot of different things that have gone on, and you wonder that if he just didn't, he just got to the point where he thought he was ready to do it, and he thought he was ready to take on the challenge of a new franchise, but he just didn't have it in him.
I am both yay and nay with this one. Nay, because then we should have never wasted our time, first of all. And luckily, the team is smart enough that they drafted Cam Robinson anyways, so we had our backup plan. Now we don't have a backup to the backup plan. But yay, because he didn't go through all of training camp and preseason and then all of a sudden up before week 1 say, you know what, I'm done, peace out. So
it certainly helps the team that he called it quits when he did.
Right.
Other than had he decided this before he agreed to the trade, then the Jaguars might have drafted another lineman, like you
Correct.
said, another guy to help fill these gaps, because, or they might have traded for somebody else or tried to sign somebody else as a free agent, because you now have really only 2 tackles that you feel really good about, and that one of those is a rookie. So you want to feel really good about his potential, but you haven't seen him play in the NFL.
I just wonder if this was a dumb decision by Brandon Albert to avoid it. In a league, speaking like all-encompassing, in a league that chews its players up and spits them out any chance that they can get, they have zero, conscience when it comes to cutting a guy. For Brandon Albert to not stick around and just to go through the motions and then collect that $9 million check on the season opener, I kind of think it's dumb.
Well,
$9 million is a lot of money.
yeah, but to me that proves that he is a much better guy than anybody like Julius Thomas, who still goes out there just to collect a check and doesn't even try. So I applaud him for that. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for not wasting our time.
But we're not going to. Are we going to applaud this move 10 years from now? Like this personal. If he took this selfish reason, he could set his family up for a very long time. And I know he's earned, like $52 million as far as contract wise is concerned. He's probably only ever going to see half of that because of taxes. But when you live an affluent lifestyle, your bills stay that way for the lifetime, or for your lifetime if you never downgrade. So my first thought was, damn, that is a bad move.
I think I would come on the train with you as far as it being dumb if he was really healthy. But because of the fact that he was really out of shape, especially during the mandatory minicamp, and you heard Jeff Lageman say his knees just didn't bend the way that they should, I think that he went through that first padded practice and realized that his body has had enough. He had said that he had 3 tough years on his body in Miami. So I think he realized that he might not, as much as he wanted to make the team, he might have thought, I might not make the team. All this effort over the next few weeks in the heat of the summer with this regime that's pushing everyone to their limits. What if I don't make the team and none of this
he's
is
making
worth
it. Him out of everybody would make the team.
Unless yes, and he could have gotten injured and then he would have been able to get his money. So, but at the same time, I just think when you do look up and you have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in your bank account, $9 million isn't the same to him as it is to us. And I don't think it was an enjoyable experience. I think that's being new to the organization and looking up and going, also, by the way, Blake threw 5 picks Saturday night. I don't really want to go through all this, and especially if the team is losing. Yes, he might have only had to have the first game.
And he'd only have to do it for a month. That was my morally, I don't know that I would probably do the same thing that Albert did. But a party really has to think, man, you could have just toughed it out for another month, and you have $9 million. I mean, those house payments, insurance payments, property taxes, those aren't cheap, and those keep coming. Those don't stop.
Well, you got to be smart then. That's why, you can't go living large, because it's eventually going to end anyways. So if $9 million on top of, say, 25 to 30 million, if that's going to break you, then you're living
Not
wrong.
going to break you, but it certainly can help over the course of your lifetime.
But you shouldn't have to depend on that $9 million.
Yeah, I always say once you get to 10 million, you're really making some dumb decisions if you
When you
can't
get to one,
live off of
dang.
that.
No. There's actually a big that's a big misconception that there's a big discrepancy between millionaires, because you're all in the same tax bracket. So if you make $1 million, you're paying the same amount as somebody who makes 50 to 100 to $200 million. So there's sort of a little bit of a discrepancy when it comes to that.
Yeah, but you got to live within your. I understand that you'll be a multimillionaire, but you got to live still within your means.
Right.
You got to think all this is going to go away, man.
That
Can
$9
I
million
afford
would help
these
when it
property
goes
taxes?
away.
Can I afford all this? So
He already has a beautiful house down in Miami. I think that's the other thing. He probably didn't want to
Be up
move
here.
to Jacksonville. As much as we love our city, not everybody does. And when you have a lazy river in your backyard, that seems way more appealing to me than doing really intense 2.5-hour practices every single day in the Florida heat.
My lazy river is the tub.
I'm just saying.
Right,
Build
so
yourself
that's
5 more
it's
lazy
my
rivers with that $9 million.
this Friday night is the Jaguars Family Fun Night. We'll talk a little bit more about some different options that you can do when we get to our Dose of Daly's place if you're headed out. Blythe, you are definitely going, but not necessarily to see what happens on the football field. You want to go to get into tailgating shape?
Yes, it's preseason for the fans too. It's training camp for the fans too. So that's I love this kind. I'm not really. Besides the third preseason game, I'm not really going out to training camp and looking at practice and see who looks good and who doesn't. I get enough of that on my Twitter feed that I can get the full synopsis and I don't have to sweat to death out there. But I will look forward to sweating to death on Friday night when you can get back into Everbank. You can get back to you're not necessarily tailgating at the with the same rituals that you would normally do, but it's just getting the feelers out there. We're not putting the pads on yet, but it's just shirts and skins pretty much.
That's awesome.
So what exactly does the plan entail?
Pretty much just meet up in the nearest parking lot with a few beverages and then go into the stadium, walk around the stadium. I sort of give I never really sit in my seats during that time, but I do give the evil eye glare to the people who are sitting in my seat because I feel like it's my property. But just walking around the stadium, shaking hands, kissing babies, that sort of thing. You go and you say hello to your football family. That's really what it is to me. Because if any fan has been around this organization for a while, you know that if you're putting all of your happiness into the team, then you're going to be very upset. You're going to be a very sad person. Put your faith and your enjoyment in the people that you go to the games with. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most on Friday.
So you won't sit in your seats, but it's unlawful if someone else sits in your
Yeah, any event that I go to Everbank and I'm not sitting in my seats, it's like the Monster Truck Show or any other kind of event, I get very territorial, and that's my seat. I've had that seat for 10 years, and I'm just letting you sit in it for a couple hours.
So why don't you just go and sit in your seat?
Because a lot of times it's taken. So
by
that's
the time you get there.
Yeah, and I can't be like, my season ticket status is null and void during events like the scrimmage, so...
I mean, you won't actually have a ticket, but you could, I guess, print out like your season ticket.
She needs to print out a
Pass.
tiara and says princess.
Oh, they'll
sits
just
here.
move. If you just put the tiara on and you walk up to your seat, they'll just move. Maybe a little bow, that would help too.
Well, you will get to see some of the players
ridiculous.
who have had some really good practices thus far, including Allen Robinson on Friday night. So watch out for him. And also the newcomer to the show, I think, this year, Dede Westbrook, wide receiver and on special teams. And, of course, running back Leonard Fournette. You'll get to at least get a taste of them.
That's
before
who's
preseason.
excited.
But a
to
small
see.
taste. I
Sure.
don't want anybody to get hurt, so I don't need to. I know Leonard Fournette can run the ball very well. I don't need to see him on so soon.
Well, it's not a scrimmage, so they aren't going to be, going at each other necessarily as hard as maybe
Okay.
they would because they're preparing for New England next week. So it'll be a practice. Certainly you'll get to see some fun drills and some 11-on-11s, I'm sure, but it won't be necessarily the same way it's been the last few years because they are doing the 5 straight padded practices and then they leave Sunday for Foxborough. All right. Our shortest time on a job, I guarantee there will be some interesting stories coming out of that, as well as Jamal Adams' comments that he would be interested in dying on the football field. We'll delve into all that coming up next, listening to Helmets and Heels built by Dream Fenders Homes on 1010XL.
Chris Sale gave up 3 runs
were you laughing
in the
about?
first inning.
Some of the suggestions.
Oh, the songs.
Bet I'm a loser. Rick Astley, never gonna give you up.
That's cool.
I've heard
I
"Wind
like it.
Beneath My Wings." That was one of the Facebook commenters.
Can take my breath away word.
Let's
I don't
see.
discriminate.
Some guy just kept texting in like each lyric to "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley.
We just need the song title, people.
Death Cab for Cuties, I Will Follow You Into the Dark.
I love that one.
So welcome in, guys. If you're just tuning in, we do this live stream. This is Helmets and Heels
That's
every
funny.
Tuesday night from 7
That's
to
a
9
good question.
p.m. This
People
is
are
a
gonna-
commercial break, so we're not
I
live
like
on air right now. We're just live on Facebook still. If you want to listen to the radio broadcast,
Well,
you
I
can always go to
realized that.
1010xl.com or listen here locally in Jacksonville
It would be
92.5
fun
FM
to
or
give the
1010 on
heel
AM.
Away in a different way this time.
Also, if you want to vote,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
not vote, if you want to nominate a song, send it into the text line and you have a chance to win one of the big Peterbrook chocolate heels. It's delicious. What's the text line? 641-1010?
Yep.
904-641-1010. Whoever wins will get that Peterbrook chocolate hill. Hill.
What the hell? We are listening. Yeah,
Redneck.
Mom.
Come on.
Mama's listening. Tomorrow's Mama's 65th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
That's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get our birthday
Nice.
present?
These are these
I
badass
am,
fries from Epic Burger.
Making her I bought a shadow box.
Okay.
And so I'm printing out a picture of her and I at Fenway for new kids, and I saved our tickets.
Love
Aw.
it.
Yeah.
That's
a
awesome.
perfect present.
Yeah. And then I'll give her a gift card to Ulta, because we both love Ulta.
Mm-hmm. Did you know you can go into Sephora and you can get sample, like, travel sizes for any of your beauty projects or products?
Sephora's good. I like Ulta.
Yeah, I'm Sephora. I got all my points there. Can't lose my status.
Mm-hmm.
Does Ulta do points?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are some beauty products that are only allowed or only
Yeah.
sold at Sephora, not at Ulta. Like I really like NARS.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sold at Ulta. I knew because I wanted to go there one time because you can easily park at Ulta, whereas you cannot easily park at Sephora.
Did y'all see that they had on Free Lipstick Day? MAC was giving out free like
Oh, I
full
saw there
size
was a
tubes.
super long line. That's why.
People were waiting outside for hours before the store opened, and they had like 12 tubes.
Oh my gosh.
They had 12?
Yeah, that it was they probably had a little bit more than 12, but they said they were out within 10 minutes.
Hey,
It
girls like their
wrapped
lipstick.
around. I mean, I thought about going up there, but I'm
Was
not
it like
waiting
a
in line
special
for it.
lipstick or something?
No,
That's a bit
any kind
crazy.
of lipstick. It's just, I mean, it's a $17 lipstick, so it is worth it lipstick-wise to get MAC, but
Dude, that's
not
queso.
waiting in line for 2 hours.
Want queso.
Oh.
I think calling in trying to win her chocolate heel is much better than waiting in line for a tube of lipstick.
You got that.
Get more satisfaction out of eating some chocolate.
That is going to be lunch tomorrow.
But then again, that's me. So
That's just.
I could be wrong.
Oh, we got another song nomination. If you guys missed it or if you're just tuning in, you're supposed to pick the song that reminds you most of the Jaguars season. So we went through those earlier in the show. Whoever, you have to text it in to 904-641-1010, and whoever is the best choice, they'll get a free Peterborough Chocolate Hill.
Oh, this is me.
Milk Chocolate Hill.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You want me to throw this away?
Sure.
I'm sure you would have stopped at three
This is my
different
gift to you.
places.
I'm nothing. I'm good.
I'm gonna go get a fork. Lauren, you need a water?
Yes, please.
Okay. You need
Thank
anything?
you.
Lauren?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, be right back.
Mm. Now, where are you going that you're not going to the
I'm going
scrimmage?
scalloping.
When does scalloping season close?
I don't know because I'm also going Labor Day weekend.
Oh, damn.
So
I think it is Labor Day weekend, maybe that it
maybe right
closes.
after that.
Back here in 30.
Thank you. I have no idea what I'm eating.
Coming back in 30 seconds, maybe like 25 now. I feel like every time I look at this, I look cross-eyed. Like, oh, shoot.
Yikes.
Damn, Chris Sale.
Thank you.
He's lights out. This is not like him.
I
Something
think
must
he's
be wrong.
leading the entire league
Yeah.
in every statistical category.
Something must be wrong, because that is
And beyond.
not like him.
Girls just want to talk football. More helmets and heels.
This is you, bud. Thank you, Donna.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
Now on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. I am Blythe Brumley, and I'm joined alongside Donna Murphy and Lauren Brooks. Ladies, what's the longest or the shortest you've ever stayed at a job? Ever.
Well, I mean, we're not counting like summer jobs, obviously. That's not what
Any
we're
job.
counting. Well, because that doesn't make sense.
Ha-
A
more
summer
or less,
job is like.
have
2
you ever been
months.
fired or left a job really quickly?
I've never been fired. Knock on that wood. I left NHRA after just a couple, I would say maybe 3 months of driving the souvenir truck from track to track?
Well, I asked this because this guy who I didn't even know his name, I guess it was until it was too late, but he's called Mooch on Twitter, and his name is Anthony Scaramucci. He's no longer the White House communications director after 10 days. So after Donna answered, what's the shortest job she's ever been at, Lauren, what's the shortest job you've ever been at?
I would say it was about a month and a half. I worked for a mortgage company, and I figured out really quickly, obviously not like within days, but within a few weeks, that some of the people that I worked for were on drugs, and therefore...
You never worked in the restaurant business then.
No.
True story.
I did not work
That's
in the
the
restaurant.
kitchen staff.
But this particular company, they were just wacky. And then I also, in addition to finding out that like they were doing some stuff they shouldn't have been, I also started getting hit on by somebody there, and I was like, just put this all together. It was my first like quote unquote real job out of college, and it scared me so bad for the real world that I was a nanny for a full year after, with a college degree. I was a nanny because I didn't want to go back into the corporate world. And then eventually I did, and eventually things got a lot better. But yeah, it only took a month and a half. Might even be long. It might have only been like a month. It was pretty quick.
It was sort of similar to me in that I always wanted to avoid the corporate world, and this job forced me, or the short history with this job forced me into the corporate world because I just wanted to get away from this crazy cat lady. I had just moved back to Jacksonville, and so I never wanted to work a desk job ever. And so I said, okay, well I'll start cleaning houses, and she wanted me to come on as more of a full-time basis. So Monday through Thursday, 4 hours a day, come in and clean her house. A little bit of companionship because she was home alone all day.
I was gonna say that's a lot of cleaning. 4 hours. 4 times a week for one house?
Well, she was crazy because she had 11 cats, all of them rescues. Half of them were diabetic that needed insulin shots each day. A few of the cats only ate treats that you left, and you had to leave like a variety of treats. It took me forever. These directions will be cemented in my head.
How long did you stay on this job?
About a month and a half.
That is way too long.
It gets better because the woman, she had a certain favorite cat that she had a block of cheese, and you had to grate the cheese fresh for the cat. You also had to take deli meat, fresh deli meat, like boar's head deli meat,
right.
Cut it up into tiny pieces because that's the only thing one of the cats would eat.
Were the other cats jealous?
Well, one of the cats only ate treats. A couple of them, you had to feed them multiple times per day. You had to wash her sheets and comforters every single day because all the cats slept with her, and it was...
And you were only there for 4 hours. Actually should ask now.
That's impressive,
It
right?
was, I was there a lot. I was there for about a month and a half because I thought it would go to a normal schedule, but we had it out one day, ended up yelling at each other, and she said, I'm not paying you, and I said, I don't want your money, and I left. I went right down the road and got a job delivering phone books just to prove that I could get a job immediately after leaving one, and I lasted maybe 2 hours delivering phone books as I forget this.
2 hours? So that's
It's literally 2 hours.
Had.
But that's the crazy cat lady led me to get a job with delivering phone books. And that tells you how far or how long ago it was, because people were still delivering phone books.
Now, what did you get into it with Crazy Cat Lady about? Because you've already acquiesced to all of these very interesting requests. I'm curious as to what led to
Well, she would get in
a
these
fight.
moods, and she would point to a spot on the wall, and she would say, I've been waiting for you to notice this for a month. And I'm like, what? It's a random spot on a wall. And then she pulled, one day she had a lot of back surgery, so she was supposed to stay in bed most of the time, but every now and then she would get a little kick. And she got a little kick to go upstairs one day, and there was calcium like on her faucet or something, and I couldn't get it off. It was calcium buildup. And she said, I want to see your resume. I want to see that your experience with cleaning houses. I'm like, I'm not jumping through these hoops for you. I just had it that day. I was like, I'm not doing none of this. Gently tossed the rag to her. I said, you do it yourself. And then that's when I started leaving, and she followed me outside and said, I'm not paying you for today. I said, I don't want your money. And I left.
Have you gone to the point now where you hire other people to clean your own house?
Not yet, but one day I really look forward to being able to do that, because you can make some good money cleaning houses, but you can also pay a lot of money to get your houses cleaned, I guess. But that was the whole story that got brought up, because that Mooch guy lasted 10 days at his job at one of the most important jobs in the country. You only last 10 days. That's incompetence.
Tyler, what about you? What's the shortest you've ever lasted?
I think it was less than a week. I was at a car detail shop, and I was there for like a summer during like one of my college, like my sophomore year in college, and my boss was just such an ass, and he was just being so mean to me one day, and he was making me like scrub the inside of the door panels with a toothbrush, and it was so hot, and these cars didn't have air conditioning. It was the middle of the summer. It was probably 140 degrees inside these cars. And I had enough. I couldn't listen to my own music. It was just way too much. I probably worked 4 days straight. It was a Friday when I walked out, so I probably had like near 40 hours that I just wasted when I walked out. But
So you didn't get paid?
no, I was cleaning in the car, and I was like, screw this. And I walked out.
Well, I started laughing right when you said you worked for a car detailer, because you're not exactly a petite soul, so I feel like climbing in and out of cars wouldn't have been all that much fun for you.
No, it wasn't very comfortable at all. So that was probably one of the factors. Yeah, I just ended up walking out and going to the beach and probably getting drunk on my bike. So.
That's probably a really good decision.
Well, I probably would have tried to make it the day just in order to get paid for it. I
That's
don't think
true.
I've ever walked away from money, unlike who we just talked
Sometimes
about.
sometimes your pride just takes over. It's like, I can't take this,
It
and
was
you gotta
so
leave.
miserable. I was just sweating bullets. It was so hot.
Well, speaking of people who want to play or work as long as they can, 2 Jets players were criticized by Patriots Martellus Bennett for saying that he...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Former.
Is he former?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Never mind. Anyways, criticized by former Patriots Martellus Bennett for saying that he wanted to die out on the football field. And with the announcement of the New York Times story about CTE, all but one brain was found with concussion symptoms, it sort of led me to this question that, should you have the mindset of a Martellus Bennett that says you should look for more in life than to want to die out on a football field, or should you have the same mindset of the Jets players that say, I want to go out there and live that sort of, I guess, that gladiator mentality?
Well, Miles Jack, Jaguars' new middle linebacker, was asked about this in a press conference, and I thought it'd be really interesting for us to listen to his comments first and then us react. Here's Miles Jack.
Personally, I love the game. I love it to death. I love playing football. I think it's awesome. Where he's coming from, that's how he believes. That's what he feels. Me personally, you know what I mean. This game of football, I don't know. I kind of see myself playing for, hopefully 10 years, and then raising a family, and you know what I mean, doing stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to necessarily die. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I understand the mantra of it though. Just going out there, giving it all you got, and if that means something happens, then you can live, knowing you gave it all you got. If you were to die, then I mean, there's 2 sides to it.
Well, and certainly I agree 100% with him. I do think every single football player who goes out on the field has to understand that, and maybe not to the extent of death, but certainly paralyzation is possible when you get out on that football field. Just today at Jaguars training camp practice, one of the running backs had to leave the field on a stretcher. Not saying he's paralyzed, but certainly the scare was there between his head, his spine, all that stuff. So I do think that you have to go out there and say, I'm willing to risk my physical specimen, my body, in order for myself, my family to make money, and for me to play the game that I absolutely love, especially if you play special teams. All that being said, I think Jamal Adams was really more or less trying to say that I love the game so much, I don't care how much it takes from me. And I think that's what all NFL players would agree with, that, except the ones that are retiring as early as 3 years in the league, because they almost sign like a waiver when they sign up for the NFL that says, I am almost donating my body and my brain to this game, and I hope to get at least 75% of all that back when I'm done. But you don't know for sure. And while we haven't seen death, we have certainly seen people become paralyzed because of football.
Well, I agree with different aspects of each person that has commented, including current Packer, Martellus Bennett. And what I think of is, I try to, not that you can relate football to NASCAR in any way, but when you think of somebody dying on the field, I think of Dale Sr. passing away on the 500, the final lap. There is no better way, I would think, of a NASCAR driver to go out, especially at Daytona. It's unfortunate and it's horrific, but it's also poetic in a sense. And so I commend someone like Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon to get out earlier than they can because they don't want to have that, which we see a lot of drivers do have it, especially Dale Jr. They're not getting hit by a truck, but they are getting hit by a car, literally. So in this sense, I have no problem with you thinking one way or the other. If you love it that much and you're like, you know what, if this is how I'm going to go out, this is how I'm going to go out. Bravo, then that's what you want to do. If you are single, have no family, you know, you're not leaving anything to chance. If you have a family and that's what you care most about, then you got to change the way you're thinking.
I wonder if it's a mindset, though, from these young, because I've been watching Last Chance U. I'm like 4 episodes in. It's such a good show, such a good show. But Isaiah Wright, he's the running back on the show, and he's the one, in the first couple episodes, he gets diagnosed with a concussion, and you can see him fighting through it throughout the entire week, and then it's game day and the coaches don't want to play him and he flips out. The team wins and he still flips out because he feels like his future is being taken from him and football is the only thing that he has. And so I get that mindset of I need to be out there, even if it takes lying about how I feel in the concussion symptoms, because right now there's nothing to tell immediately. Like, you can't do a medical report like you can with a knee. You can know immediately if a knee is busted up. You don't know.
But a knee could also take you out as well.
Yeah.
You know? Not that it's going to take you out indefinitely, like in that sense, you know, sending you up to the sky.
We saw Ben Roethlisberger had some comments about retiring, and he is 35, and he said he's thinking about it after this year because when he's 70, he wants to know his kids' names. And most of us walk around thinking, you know, I hope I don't get in a car accident. I guess my plane doesn't crash. But for the most part, there's not something that's going to prevent us, other than maybe a neurological disease, from not being able to remember things when we're 70. And yet, a lot of these players will face that, especially the ones who have tried to hide concussions and are able to do that when they're younger. That's the thing that I think people forget is people, or these players are getting concussions starting at the age of 11, 12, as soon as they start playing football, tackle football, they can get concussions and they may go undiagnosed. So then certainly through high school, through college, and then eventually college and NFL, they're starting to get diagnosed, but who knows how many led up to that, and even small ones that they may not even realize, so they may not even be trying.
And even if they get diagnosed and they're not going through, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have expert opinions on how to treat a concussion. But Gay Culverhouse, she was the daughter of former Buccaneers owner. She was the one that really spearheaded a lot of the concussion research, and she said that it takes 3 weeks of no sound and no light in order to get over a concussion, to fully recover from a concussion. And nobody in the NFL is following that procedure. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different recommendations, but a part of me sort of wonders if this is a mentality that's going to change the entire game of football. Are we going to see less talented guys? There was a Jets player that announced retirement after 9 years today. He's an offensive lineman, and so the linemen that get probably the most brunt of the concussion worries, I think, but they don't get a lot of the light shined on them. I just worry that this is going to be a mindset that's going to affect the talent that we see from the NFL, but we won't see that probably for another 10, 15 years.
I don't know that it'll affect the talent, but I do wonder if the game is going to be forced to change. It's so incredibly violent that if we do see more of this come with the guys that are currently playing, that either have so many concussions they can't keep playing or they start retiring earlier, then I wonder if eventually Roger Goodell and the NFL have to look up and say, we need to figure out a way to keep this game as exciting as it is, but reduce the impact on the brain. Because you can't replace a brain. You can replace a knee, you can replace a hip. You can't replace a brain, and not only that, but you can't fix it if there are parts of it that are broken.
Well, it's funny you say that because Roger Goodell was at this he was sitting right next to these Jets players whenever they said this, and Roger Goodell made he made a comment. I heard it on Jaguars Today earlier today, and he said that Roger Goodell said something to the effect of that football players are healthier and they lead longer lives than the rest of the standard population.
And he's finding everybody.
Well, I'm
You're
just
all
saying
fine.
that because, yes, some of these guys are purebred athletes almost. So certainly they may live a longer life than somebody who's sitting around eating food that's terrible for them and
Right.
not getting exercise. So yes, if you're going to compare those two people, but if you're just talking about somebody's brain at the age of 60, and with all the suicides that we've seen former NFL players commit based off of CTE, or at least we assume related to CTE, then that's when you can't start to compare those. So
Yeah, that was not a smart statement by Goodell.
I don't think so either. It honestly, it surprised me when I heard that.
But it's 5 years longer than you, on average. So their lifespan is actually longer and healthier. And I think because of all the advancements, and including the medical care, that number is going to even increase for them.
Their
There's
body may be healthier, but not their brain.
But there's some math. The average NFL fan or average NFL player lives longer than you. There's only so many NFL players and so many people in this world.
And they've
so
gotten
come
a lot
on,
of-
Roger.
First of all, the average NFL player, I believe, if it's still this, I had heard this number a few years ago, plays 3 years.
3.5 years.
Right, so if you're taking that player, they probably have less CTE and less trauma to their brain, and also they're in peak physical condition for a long time, and they've had the best nutritionists and athletic trainers while they're football players. So it really doesn't compare. But one thing we can all agree on is that at some point the NFL is going to have to address this. We just don't know whether it's going to be going back to no helmets or whether it's going to be hopefully coming up with a helmet that can actually
No helmets,
protect.
that's insane.
That's one thing that's been on the table.
I would like that for hockey. That was fantastic.
Back in the day,
hockey,
yeah,
right?
you could see the flow
Yeah.
going while they're skating. But rugby players, they don't suffer nearly the concussion level that NFL guys
Unless they
do,
don't.
and it's because they don't wear pads and helmets.
Or is it because they don't put money into this research?
Well, it's also that if you have all the pads and the helmet on, I guess
You're gonna
studies
go.
show, right, they show that you're going to go harder.
I gotcha.
Donna has an idea for a picks contest for us. I'll let her
Oh, yes.
explain what the loser
Speaking
has
of
to
nutritious.
do. That and a dose of Daly's Place. That's all coming up next. Josie and the Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL. Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. It's that time of the year again, folks. Football season. And again, this season, Dreamfinders Homes is giving you a shot to win your dream home. That's right. If the Jaguars return a punt for a touchdown on Everbank Field, one lucky family will have the chance to win $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Visit a Dreamfinders Homes model today and register for the Take It to the House promotion. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So,
Are you showing off your fries to Facebook feed?
This is like the 4th time I've showed him off.
you know what's wrong?
Yeah, a little bit cold, but it still looks
Chris
good.
Sale's normal catcher is hurt, so he's not catching. But we
Yeah,
just hit a
little bit of
homer, so.
yeah, a little bit of a comeback.
Who hit it?
Moreland.
Welcome in, guys, to Helmets and Heels. We do
But
this
that
live
sucks.
stream
If he's
stream
injured,
live.
That's the only.
It's
That's
kind of
his
redundant.
catcher.
Anyways, we're here every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. If you want to listen to us on the radio, you can always go
This
to
is why Pharaoh
1010xl.com or listen locally 92.5 FM or 1010 on the AM schedule. If you want, we're also doing a song
that
contest. If you want to pick a
that.
song that's going to remind you or what you think that the Jaguar season is going
but
to be,
he's probably not.
either put it in the comments or text it
Yeah, I
to
still couldn't
641
actually
904-641-1010
he's also
and you can win a Peterbrook
recovering.
chocolate heel. They're actually
Oh,
really
is he?
cool and really good.
Yeah, he's a recovery.
Which, so he probably feels some guilt there. Ugh, that's awful.
Yeah.
And shout out to Stan for bringing us food. Got
He's a
some
big
epic
time.
burger going on.
Used to be
Buffalo
bad.
queso fries. If you've never had them, if you don't know,
I guess
now
that
you
maybe
know.
sounds familiar. But yeah, when I saw that tweet, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have now found my solution to not being starving when the show comes on.
An apple.
No, that would make me hungrier. Fruit makes me like hungrier. For some reason,
Really?
the sugar makes it speeds up something. I don't know metabolism. I have no idea, but I'm starving after I eat fruit. No, the smoothie that Brent got me from Smoothie King. I just got the small one, but had it whenever he got here, like 3 o'clock,
That's good.
and so I haven't been starving. I'm just eating now because I like to eat.
Because I like to eat. Come on.
Have we got any songs yet?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot. He's been reading. to us.
Tailgates and touchdowns. Is that a song?
That's a playlist. I know for sure. Tailgates and touchdowns, maybe.
I mean, we haven't told him to go to Facebook.
No, I'm telling them not to comment here, to text to them.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been getting some.
They gotta follow the same rules as everybody else. The only bad thing about Facebook Live is that you can't multitask. So if you're watching something live, which shout out to you guys for watching live. If you like what we're doing, hit the thumbs up, hit the share. It really helps a lot.
Are we doing Dose of Daly's Place first?
You can do it however you want.
Are they coming on live anymore for those or no? We're just recapping it and then moving on.
They come on for Jaguars today.
Okay. When did we start inquiring about player interviews?
We already did. They
Awesome.
shut us down for anything during training camp.
Mm.
The players are too busy. I'm hoping that the Dream Finders people can, like Jen and that group, can put an influence on them for those shows. But I have a feeling it's going to be very difficult this year, regardless of who's asking.
Because of Koffler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Everything goes through him.
I get it.
I'm cool with that. I trust Coughlin more than anybody else in that building. Coughlin says yes, then cool. If you don't, that's cool too.
This will finally be the year we get Bortles. I'll be like, nah.
I'll be like, nah, I
I've been
don't want
asking for like 3
We
years.
don't want them.
Dang it.
I highly doubt Coughlin would want
That would be
him.
funny. Would be funny.
Mm-mm.
Come on, get a
He
hit.
doesn't want any distraction
Come on, brah.
for his players. I think we would count as a distraction.
Yeah, we would, for sure.
Come on, brah.
What are we talking about next? We're
Um,
coming back in
Our,
1 minute.
Pick contest.
We're going to do a pick contest. Football picks. 2 college. Well, you'll hear it.
However, right?
Yeah,
One
you'll-
college,
Said
2
one
NFL.
college, 2 NFL.
We
Every
change
week?
it up every week. If it's a really good college week, we can do 2 college, 1 NFL.
Are we picking against the spread or just
No,
straight up?
Straight up.
Okay.
We don't need to add math into this equation.
I am going to try gambling. Sports gambling. Well, no, I'm not.
Tyler does a lot.
I'm going to do
Tyler
some
gambles
sports
a
gambling
lot.
in Vegas. Not in the state of Florida, where it's illegal.
Oh, very loud.
Hacker and I
Somebody
bonded
call
over
Hacker.
Disney last week.
Oh.
Hackers out there asking for keys from the maintenance man.
Oh,
Don't worry about him.
Tyler, tell Hacker I have a key. Welcome back to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. It is a wonderful Tuesday night, and it is the week before preseason, which is exciting.
Football is literally going to
Sneaking
be
up.
our living rooms on Thursday night
It
next
is.
week.
Almost.
I can't believe it's here. Blink of an eye.
It is.
June and July are gone.
And tomorrow is a day to celebrate because, one, it is my mom's 65th birthday party.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Mama! And Straight No Chaser will be at Daly's Place tomorrow night.
Oh,
That's
very
exciting.
nice.
Yep. Straight No Chaser, followed by Foreigner.
Nice.
The
Corner
next night.
and Cheap Trick. I think people are going to,
Oh, my dad's going to be in heaven.
yeah, people are going to have a lot of fun with that one.
If my son was older, I would definitely be taking him to Kids Bop because he loves music and dancing. But
That would be cute.
So in a
watch all
couple
the little kids dancing, that would be really cute.
It would. I would have a great time with him. I would definitely have a great time with him, but we're going to have to wait for that one. And then the next big artist will be Future on the 16th.
Post Malone is opening for him. He is brilliant.
Yeah?
Yes. Love his music.
And that is the first real rap act.
Yes.
So certainly they're trying to appeal to all different genres of music. We've had a lot of country. We've had a lot of kind of old school rock. We've had Diana Ross, so some old R&B.
I'm still waiting.
Kids
Family.
music.
I'm still waiting on some Michael Bublé. That'll probably have to wait till next year. But in case you want to recommend an act coming there, all you have to do is go tell them at Twitter at Daly's Place and say, I want to see this act.
Absolutely. And then Matchbox 20 on August 19th featuring Rob Thomas. That one's almost sold out. So if you want to get tickets for that, head to dailiesplace.com now and ensure you get a seat to that show. I've heard, Vlad, you've been, I've heard that there is no bad seat. Is that really true?
I kind of think it's true. I mean, where I was sitting was pretty fantastic, but my dad has gone before, and he said that there was a difference between two different seats that were right next to each other, and it was like $100 price difference, and he got the cheaper one, and he said he had a fantastic time. And I don't think a lot of people are aware, but all the concessions and the bathrooms and things like that, they're built right into Daly's Place. So it's almost, if you're a season ticket holder, if you're familiar with going to Everbank, it's almost like a mini home game, which it makes me excited to see what they're going to do as far as like the post-game entertainment.
Now, we've been telling everybody, all the listeners, tonight to text into the text line at 641-1010. Give us what you think is the theme song for the Jags, or your theme song for the Jags, or what they should have for you. And I saw Bryan Adams is coming up in September. I'm like, yeah, fans could be like, everything I do it for you.
No, that's false.
Definitely, you know.
That's very
So,
true.
I
Why
love
is that false?
Everything I don't do it for the Jaguars.
You buy the tickets to go see the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's enough.
So you save money. That is a lot.
But
You
not
work-
everything
you
I
work-
do it for the Jaguars.
You work to earn your money to put it right back into the Jaguar season tickets.
Small portion of what I do.
But anywho,
Well, since you're headed out Friday night, head to jaguars.com/family night. And for people who want to get an idea of what the flex field looks like, you can go behind the scenes at both Daly's Place and the flex field on Friday.
Nice.
And get, the media will have a time to do tours, and then fans will have the rest of the night to do tours, which is awesome that you finally get to see what this flex field entails.
I'm more excited about that than any concert. I just want to see the indoor practice field.
with the football season, both college and NFL pro, coming up, I thought it would be fun for us to do picks with a switch, I guess you could say. Instead of doing all the NFL picks or whatever, we can do, say, one college pick that week, 2 NFL picks, or if it's a big college rivalry week, we can do 2 college, 1 NFL, whichever one. We'll switch it up, but at least 3 picks. And we'll keep a tally. There'll only be 1 loser. There will be 2 winners, because there's 3 of us. So the one loser, we talked about it, how are we going to do it, what's going to be the bet, and we came upon Tom Brady's diet. We're going to do the TB12 diet. The loser will have to eat what Tom Brady eats for 1 straight week with no cheating.
I think it should be weekdays only, and not the weekend.
1
Because
week.
football season, for some of us, is a very, busy time.
Calorific.
But look,
you're also not
but
necessarily
this is-
home. I'm virtually never home during football season, so meal prep and all that stuff is never
It's
gonna happen.
typical
I'm doing
Lauren
that.
trying to get out of the bed.
No, you got to think postseason. Football's going to be done when we're done with this.
So we're going at least
Postseason.
through,
We're doing
So
postseason.
after the regular season ends.
Yes.
The NFL regular season.
After postseason, like Super Bowl, we will go up to the Super Bowl, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. You are.
But
you
what about
crazy?
the playoff matches when there's
All of
only...
that.
Then we'll only do 2 picks.
Yeah.
and then
Okay,
we'll only do
okay,
1
all
pick.
right.
And yeah,
I'm trying to find these loopholes now because we've done these bets in the past.
there will not be.
I'm going to smack her.
I know.
I'm going to come around the
That
table
is-
and I'm going to smack
It's a
her.
fact.
It
No.
is. It is
It's a
Amanda
fact.
never brought in her gear.
Did
to
anyone
have her
bring me
wear.
rivalry stuff to wear?
No, Amanda never did.
Thank you, Donna.
Sorry,
will
Mom.
you be keeping, Donna, will you be keeping...
I
we
will
need-
keep score.
We need someone to keep score.
I will
Yeah.
keep score. Mom says weekday only. No, Mom.
Yes, thank you. It's
Tom Brady
almost her
diet is going to
birthday.
go for a whole 7 days. Exactly.
What's the Tom Brady diet, though?
Okay,
Do we
so-
know?
Hold on,
Here we go.
Real quick, is Tyler in on this or no?
If
You
Tyler
can
wants to be.
choose.
I'll play, sure.
All right.
All right. That means no alcohol
Okay.
for a straight week.
I also have one other question to ask, and I wanted
Sure.
to gauge you. I didn't ask you this before because I wanted your real reaction. How do you feel if we exclude the Patriots and the Jaguars from being able to be in the picks?
Okay.
And I say that because the Patriots, I feel like, are an easy win, and the Jaguars, at least last year, were an easy loss. So I'd rather make it a little bit more
I'm
challenging.
okay with
than
that one.
Are you all
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
How are we going to
Perfect.
pick the games? Or I guess we'll just decide each week.
Yeah,
Case by case
probably
basis.
whatever toughest one or funnest matchup or whatever, however. It
So
goes.
what's the Tom Brady diet?
Okay, well, I can tell you what some of it consists of and what some of
Not
it
this.
does not consist of.
All right.
What do you want to go first?
Just hammer a...
Yeah, because
hammer-
I'm just going to eat my cheese fries while you
what
do it.
you are not allowed to eat: no white sugar, no white flour, no MSG. You can
So
use
no tacos.
no. You can use raw olive oil, but you never cook with the olive oil. You only cook with coconut oil.
That sounds expensive already.
No iodized salt. No
tomatoes, right?
No tomatoes, no peppers, no mushrooms, no eggplants.
Oh my gosh, that's all healthy though.
No coffee, no caffeine, no fungus, no dairy.
No coffee.
I'm out.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to find another way to do this.
The only fruit you can eat is a banana.
I'm not worried about the fruit.
No other fruit.
How
other
have they
than a
not
banana.
killed each other yet, Giselle and Tom?
Oh, look at them. How could you just look in the mirror and be like, yeah,
God,
it's working.
Kill
But
my
he doesn't
spouse if
have,
I
like,
only
a
had to
perfect
eat that.
You eat. I know he does not.
Right, so
No.
this is not working.
It's all mental. I guess it's brain healthy.
Okay.
They eat 80% vegetables, and it's fresh vegetables, no frozen vegetables. Don't be buying the cauliflower frozen rice. And
I'm gonna spend $100 to lose a bet.
Well, what you can do is just purchase his stuff on TB12, $78 a week.
Oh, that's
1 week,
perfect.
you can buy $78 and it sends you your meals
Okay.
for a week.
Done.
There's that.
Maybe we can get him to sponsor it.
Yeah, TB12. Come on.
We know you got the
Is
cash.
there any other way? that
You
we
can
know
have
about
20% of your intake can be lean meats like grass-fed organic steak, duck, and chicken.
What does he do for energy if he doesn't drink coffee?
He has his own electrolyte drink.
Oh, no, that ain't gonna work.
And he has a $50 bag of nuts if you want to purchase that.
I'm telling you, I don't know if this is the route that
Literally.
we should go.
The no coffee thing, I'm like, I can do no alcohol. I can do healthy food for a week, but no
I
coffee.
said this is gonna be tough.
But tomatoes and mushrooms, those are all, and eggplant,
I think
love
they're.
that stuff.
Is it anti-inflammatory or they are inflammatory? Tomatoes. That's why he
they
doesn't.
cause inflammation. Yes.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't.
Now
eat
you
them.
can go for what their kids eat if you would like. Their
Okay,
kids
let's hear
get a
that.
little bit more lenient. They do have brown rice, avocado, carrots, cucumbers, maki style rice, which is outside. I'm not too sure for sushi type of sushi.
Oh, okay. All right. This
Uzu,
sounds far more
tamari.
doable.
Everything is gluten free, if that helps. Snacks, they eat fruit rolls from bananas, pineapple. What is it? Spirulina?
don't even
It's
know
a
what
type
that
of
is.
algae.
Are the kids allowed alcohol? That's what I need to
Are they
know.
allowed coffee?
They eat raw granola and raw chocolate chip cookies.
Okay, how about we agree to what the kids eat and we add in coffee?
You
None.
can do that. I don't drink coffee.
I know you don't.
So that's why this doesn't bother me. I don't eat
I drink coffee for the benefit of others.
Yeah.
You work from home.
because you're a mess.
But I still talk to a lot of people throughout the day.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And now Gronk has now taken on this diet,
Oh.
in case you wanted to know. But he
He is
cannot-
not following that diet. Are you
He
nuts?
he has hired the body coach for him and his chef, and he said that I will only do this diet if you, Tom, bring me the food. And so Tom brings him his
There's
boxed
no way.
meals.
There's zero
But
chance
he
that
says
he's going to
he
follow
does-
this diet.
He says he does eat. He has his alcohol. However, per alcoholic drink, this is from the body nutritionist. Every drink you take, for 1/8 ounce alcohol, you have to have 3 glasses of water because that'll countermix what the
I
alcohol
got that all day.
I drink water all day.
Yeah, I
It's
can
the
drink
coffee.
water till the end of the earth, but I definitely want, a glass of wine at the end of a long day.
Nope.
I'll
Well,
leave here at 9 o'clock at night.
you can have your wine, but you have to have 3 glasses of water.
I can definitely
after
handle that. At one point, I bet my cousin, not really bet, but it was to encourage us to go running. So I said, we have to run a mile if we want to drink anything, right? So if you log in 4 miles that day, then you can have 4 drinks. But if you don't log in any miles, you can't
Right.
have any drinks. It lasted all of 2 days. And then I realized that sometimes you want to drink and you don't want to go run a mile.
You gotta just come running with me at lunchtime. You'll be set.
Well, I run in the morning.
Or just
True.
don't
But-
run at all.
Yeah, you don't run.
No.
Because you don't like to sweat.
No, I sweat. I sweat when I'm lifting weights.
Oh. I thought we didn't. Never mind.
I tried a new routine. I'm sweating now.
I'm sweating now. Well,
It's gross.
sweating is a good thing.
I am.
Sweating because you're
Correct.
nervous about eating Tom Brady's diet for a week.
No, I ain't losing, so I don't have to worry about it.
I told you if I'm pregnant at this time, this is going to really suck.
Yeah, and the fact that you would
You'll
still
see angry
reach
Donna.
it when you might be pregnant kind of makes me sad.
You will see a
I don't
very
want
angry
this to
Dawn.
happen to you.
So Tyler, you're on board because we need somebody that we can just default and be like, you know what, Tyler, you lose.
I think Tyler was the big loser of our picks contest that we didn't really have a bet
I
for.
originally finished last.
Yeah,
Keeping track of the standings.
exactly.
Well, the good
All
thing,
right.
we're not going to go against the spread. We're going to keep it straight up. So
There we go. Well, we said we were going to talk about LaVar Ball, so we will get to him as well as Steve Bartman. That's all coming up next, just in Helmets and Heels built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
that was fun. Mom says that's too hard. BS. Choose something else.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not
I
asking you
love
to partake, Mom.
mushrooms and peppers. That's like literally, I eat at least one of those things once, maybe twice a day.
So then you can eat what the kids eat.
That's much better because I'm obsessed with sushi.
Yeah.
I could do any of that diet stuff except for the coffee. I'd rather just not eat
So
the whole
fun.
Do you
week.
drink black coffee?
So
A little bit of cream.
Yeah, so which is also obviously against the rules. Although I drink sugar-free creamer, so does that mean I can handle that?
so no dairy.
Right. Yeah.
I have tried almond milk, but I don't like looking at something and expecting a certain taste and not getting it. And that's my
Yeah,
problem with
I
almond
figure-
milk.
Yeah, tied it up.
I figure if I drink sugar-free creamer, I'm not hurting anything.
Yeah.
It's,
And that's-
I
it's
don't
small.
drink that much. I only drink. Most weekends I won't have any coffee. I only drink it during the week.
But
I just got a
this
new coffee
because
machine.
This is you don't want to lose this one.
Mm-mm.
You know, that's what will make it fun.
Especially
It's
during
not-
football season.
Yeah. It'll be
So
fun.
what I think you'll have to do is pick. You'll have to pick 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way to do it is
What's going on?
probably look at the site that Beef uses to pick games with the spreads, and then
Okay.
whatever like the closest spreads are.
Okay. The ones that are tightest.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say pick those 3.
Okay.
And certainly don't hold to the one college, 2 NFL. If you like 3 NFL, if you like 3
Yeah.
college, whatever's easiest. He should have that because he gives that to
Sure.
Dan and Jeff every Friday morning for their Friday 5 packs.
Mhm.
So I would think now they're able to choose whatever games, but
Right.
they do go against the spread. But I would think that
Right.
he can give you that
Right.
or tell you where he picks it from.
What?
By the way, I think we can skip Title IX if everybody's on board with that. The Title IX discussion.
I think it would be funny if they did Tom Brady diet.
It's too serious at the end.
Yeah, they being who?
The drill.
Oh, the drill.
Can you picture one of those guys?
No, absolutely not.
That'd be funny.
Nor Beef. I was thinking Dan and Jeff, nor Beef.
Beef's doing so good with his
He
workouts.
is,
I am.
absolutely. But nobody wants to, everybody in today's day and age is all about convenience when it comes to food,
Right.
in my opinion. Yes, there is the population who is super healthy, who like meal preps and stuff. But for the most part, most of us, it's like, what can I eat that's somewhat healthy, but it's
Right.
also very convenient? What's the least amount of work that I have to do for this meal? Like, especially
Like, I like my
Monday
fried
through
rice.
Friday.
There's vegetables in it, but it's
Sure.
also fried rice.
Publix makes these great meals now that you can just go into the store and they're already like pre-made pastas and
like
things
the
like
chicken
that.
enchiladas.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
chicken
they-
tortellinis.
They make all it. Well, the couple of them that I've seen, they're already in a bag, and you just literally take the bag and you throw it in the oven, and it all cooks inside. So
Okay.
seafood, whatever.
I haven't seen those then. I have seen, if you go in like the deli section.
Oh no,
Publix
not
has
those.
Okay.
This is like already like pre-made, like the sauce. Like the couple times I've gotten, they're both like pasta
in the meat
seafood
se-
based.
meat-
Yes.
yeah.
Right beside where it's like the sushi area, and then the meats start. They're like right in that
okay.
area.
Interesting.
But it's really you cook it right in the packet, and the only time you ever open up the packet is when you're ready to eat, and it cooks in like 10 minutes.
Thank you.
It's super convenient.
My favorite thing from Publix is in the deli section with like where the pre-made sandwiches are. They have this thing called pork udon bowl. It's so it's similar to our ramen except not quite as elaborate, but it's this delicious broth, the noodles, snap peas, and it comes with a barbecue pork, and then it comes with a sweet chili or spicy chili sauce, and so you can make it as spicy as you want. It's so delicious. Oh my gosh, I like dream about it. But they don't serve it at this Publix. They don't have it at the beach Publix.
Oh dang.
So I have to. Otherwise, I would just get that every day.
Yeah.
I have to get it at home, and then remember if I'm not. I have to come in here if I'm going straight to training camp. I can't bring it. It's a whole thing. But it's delicious.
Tom Brady diet. Enjoy Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Alex is funny, right?
Well, Blythe, you wanted to talk LaVar Ball, so here is your platform.
I voted for no, and I got
We have to talk. I mean, I know people are, it's sort of like Tim Tebow, even like Deflategate. Like, people
So much
say
worse
they're
than
sick
Tim Tebow.
of hearing about certain people in the sports world, but your clicks and your listens prove otherwise. You can't get enough of them. And LaVar Ball is another one. Over the weekend, Tyler actually sent us a story where he was holding a basketball tournament for his second oldest son, not Lamar. I think it's LaMelo is the
Can't
second
believe
son.
there's more of them.
By all accounts, they're good kids. But he was in the middle of the tournament. He got teed up by a female referee, and the female referee, he had issues with her, and he took his team off of the court and wanted the Adidas, who is the sponsor of the event, to remove the referee before he ever steps back onto the court again. Adidas complied, and then I think they finished out the game. But Adidas has since said that they made a mistake. But I think that when this story broke, it was really people jumped on the fact that she was female, and that's the reason why she was ejected. Come to find out, the two of them have a little bit of a history, but he didn't make things better for himself whenever he said the statement, she needs to stay in her lane. And I sort of wonder, there was another NBA reporter, or not reporter, but he is a broadcaster, Doug Gottlieb. He's very, he's been in the game of basketball for a long time, and he said, I realize this is hypocrisy, but should we in the media stop? He wants everybody in the media to stop talking about LaVar Ball because he is bad for the game. But I'd argue that he gets clicks, and he gets listens, and he gets ratings. So why not talk about him?
I don't know that I agree that getting clicks is always the best possible thing. If he's teaching the youth in our society that it's okay to treat people like that, then that's wrong, and we shouldn't be promoting it. He told her that and said that she's out of shape. You don't say that about an official. The official is hired by another agency that puts them through tests and training, and the official at that point is approved and hired to referee your game, and he says that female referee shouldn't referee a boys' basketball game. Referees, it does not matter what the gender of the sport is. If they're approved and they've gone through the proper training, then they should be able to referee regardless, or at least their agency, their company that they work for will make that decision. So whereas we originally said he's not sexist, this issue to me says that he is sexist, at least in the professional world. Whether he's sexist about women in general, who knows? But in the professional world, he's putting someone down and saying that she's not worth or respected enough to referee that sport. He's an idiot. And he's using his mouth to get more attention for him and his family. Whether or not the media keeps him in the prominence, regardless. I appreciate what Gottlieb is saying, which is let's put the spotlight on people who are working to better the community and the youth. And LaVar had that chance with this AAU team, and he went the opposite way.
Let's talk about what he said today. Can we talk about what he said today?
Go for it.
On ESPN 850 in Cleveland. He said he was a better tight end back in my heyday, quote unquote, than four-time Pro Bowler Rob Gronkowski. This guy is a giant A, and I don't think anybody else other than Magic Johnson wants to punch him in the face. Magic Johnson's probably the only one that's like, I love you because you know what? You're just like how I was when he came into LA and he was a Laker. He was cocky.
Magic played the game.
Right, Magic played, he was awesome, but he had that charisma. Whatever charisma you want to call it. This moron just is living off his kid's life, who they may or may not be good. Who cares? But
His son just got drafted to the Lakers, number 2 pick overall.
He may or may not be good. Just because you get drafted doesn't mean you're good.
He's been playing pretty good.
We shall
But in the
see.
Summer League.
This
to sell out crowds in the Summer League, and that's what the NBA cares about, is how can they get more attention to their game. And if you're selling out these practice games, then
done.
I would say that's, I don't want to call them like a necessary evil, but if the crowd, if people are responding to him, and there is a little bit, obviously he's very brash, but I kind of admire the fact that he's going to say what he wants to say, and he's not going to apologize for it. Because what you have in today's society nowadays is that everybody wants an honest opinion, but when somebody is a little bit too honest, then that's when everybody sort of piles on.
Too honest and dumb. There's two different things. He is dumb.
How is he dumb?
He's dumb. you're telling me that he can beat Michael Jordan. He's better than Rob Gronkowski. This guy is a fool, and I'm wasting my air. All right, that's it. I'm done.
But he's a playground type father. I grew up around a baseball field. There's dads like this all over the place that showboat for their kids, and that they'll say something outlandish. I don't think he's a terrible person. I don't think he should be thrown in jail. People just keep putting a microphone in front of him, and he's going to keep saying this outlandish stuff, but he owns up to it. I sort of admire that.
If all this is LaVar Ball going around and saying how great his son's going to be and how great he is at whatever it is, that would be one thing, and he would never have drawn the media spotlight that he has, and people would stop, honestly, putting the microphone in front of him. My problem with all of it is that he's ending up in these really negative situations, and this female referee thing, I think that was a big deal. And so I loved how the officiating company then for another game, they wanted to put an all-female crew with him. Adidas found out about it and negotiated and said no, but they allowed one female referee. To me, like, this guy can't have, and he has to have Adidas on his behalf say, no, don't give me all-female referees. That's when LaVar Ball had the opportunity, and Adidas, to say, you know what, I was wrong with my comments. I'm going to be the bigger person, and I'm going to now have fun with this fact that there's going to be an all-female officiating crew. And I think that could have done wonders for his brand, or whatever you want to call it.
I just think that he's winning. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. If you keep talking about him, he's going to keep winning. I mean, we have a president of the United States that says outlandish things on a daily basis, and he got elected. So I don't think we're going to see any less of LaVar Ball because he says these outlandish things, and he doesn't back down from it. Right or wrong, certain situations, I don't know that we should jump to the gun with everything he says. I felt like people did rush to judgment when it came to this particular story and put the two and two together and said, oh, she's a female ref, he must just be automatically sexist. I think that people jump to the gun way quicker than they should have, and that you should sort of take the step back. But that's not the world we live in. We live in the social media world where everything you say is going to it's going to be a lightning rod approach, and that is him. Everything he says is going to be a story.
And I wouldn't say that he's winning. I would say that he's gained traction in the media, and people know who he is, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's winning, because I think the most well-respected people in both the media circles and the basketball circles, they are fed up with him, and they think he's a moron. So that's where I think, yes, he's getting what he wants, but I wouldn't necessarily call it winning.
Well, we're in the business of drawing more listeners, drawing more readers, and drawing more viewers. And if you can talk about that's what when we choose to talk about, certain show topics, we have to talk about what the majority of people want to talk about, and then we only can respond to that based off of user interaction. The majority of users are reacting to LaVar Ball, then that makes it to the story, just like Tim Tebow does. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum, but it's sort of the same spectrum that they're working off of.
Well,
it's negative attention in one way or another.
Speaking of the media and negative attention, Steve Bartman was
nice segue.
Yes, was a person who obviously has become a character in the Cubs world. He was a Cubs fan that interfered with a foul ball, and
one of several fans.
5 years later, Moises Alou came out and said he wouldn't have caught the ball regardless of what Bartman did.
Despite his reaction on the field.
Right. Which, that's to be understood. But once he went back and watched it, and then also he saw the pure negativity that Bartman received. And Tyler, you as a Cubs fan, I know that Bartman almost has become this caricature of the sports world, but how do you feel about him?
I don't hate him, and I never did hate him, because I never thought that a silly foul ball that Moises Alou never had a chance to catch would end that Cubs season, because if you watch the rest of that game, they had really costly errors on routine balls to the shortstop. Our Gold Glove shortstop fumbled the ball on a double play ball that would have ended the inning. The Marlins ended up getting like 5 runs in that 7th or 8th inning. And
I think it was 8 runs in the 8th inning.
It was a bad inning altogether, and that was probably the least important play of that inning.
And it was Game 6. It wasn't even Game 7.
Right.
It was Game 6.
And the fans jumped on it because they can't jump on their players. They're that's still their team, and the guy was just kind of a scapegoat, and it was bad for him, really bad.
And it really bothers me that one person, when there was multiple, kind of became the feature of all and really scrutinized by all of the Cubs fans. And ever since then, it's been years and he's never been able to enjoy another Cubs game. Yes, he was able to get a World Series ring yesterday from the Cubs organization and the Ricketts family, but he's never again been the same. Blythe, you said you wouldn't have given him the ring.
No.
But don't you feel awful for the life that he's had to live because of all that?
I mean, I definitely feel awful for him. The 30 for 30 is one of the best 30 for 30s I've ever seen on Bartman. And this is pre-social media age, so the fans were that cutthroat well before they could, lash out on social media. So to me, it was a very tragic event that he went through. But that was, 14 years ago? He has nothing to do with this most recent win. Well, not most recent, but the first win in more than 100 years. But he had nothing to do. He had all but renounced his fandom of the Cubs. And I get the gesture by the team, but he didn't have anything to do with it. And so I didn't understand. It just felt a little unnecessary. The pro that comes out of this, though, is that we do hear from Bartman for the first time ever.
The thing you got to look at it is this has all to do with Theo Epstein. So when Theo won with the Red Sox, not after 2004, but after 2007, welcomed Bill Buckner back.
But he's a player.
Yeah. You want to talk about somebody who was shamed? He wasn't allowed back. He wasn't welcomed back. That was 1986. This was 2008. 2008 is when they gave him a standing ovation. And finally said, we welcome you. We realize... we're sorry for really bashing you for 20, 30 years. This wasn't 14 years and a fan. This was a player who, by all chance, when you look at it, it went through his legs. But if it didn't, who was going to catch it?
Also in Game 6.
There was more things surrounding that one play. But he got all that.
But he didn't get a ring.
But Theo is used to it. But he welcomed him back and made it about him that day.
I think he can do that with Bartman.
Yeah, well,
but Bartman won't go in the public.
No, he won't go in the public eye.
Game and get a standing ovation,
which is why he shouldn't get a ring.
And the picture wasn't of him. It was just of the ring. He doesn't want his picture taken because Cubs fans. There might be Cubs fans out there that still hate him.
Oh, I'm sure there definitely are. But I just don't think he deserved a ring. He didn't do anything to get that ring. And since then we have tons. Jim Joyce comes to mind for blowing the perfect game call. A few years back, there was a Kentucky referee that he essentially had to close down his Facebook business page because he had a bad call during a Kentucky game. There's fans all over that get this kind of treatment.
This all has to do with Theo Epstein because he learned from what he did in Boston, and it was the same thing in Chicago.
But it's not a ring. I get the accolades. I get bringing him and recognizing him.
Nomar got a ring when we won in 2004. He didn't deserve it.
But he was there for half the year.
They gave World Series rings to the ushers.
Yeah, everybody gets a ring.
Like they gave probably 400 rings out to everybody in the organization.
People that are working for the organization right now? Right. That's my point.
I'm saying Steve Bartman maybe a ring before the guy who shows me where my seat is in 121.
Bartman would have wanted to work for the Cubs organization. He was
that's a stretch.
I think you are forgetting that his entire life changed because of one moment.
I'm not forgetting it at all. I've actually followed it pretty closely since 2003 because that was also the same year that the Red Sox collapsed in 2003. So I followed both stories very closely. I just don't think that he deserved a ring. I get giving him accolades. I get, bringing him onto the field, welcoming him back. Hey, it's a welcome atmosphere now. You don't have to be scared about coming to, the Wrigley Field. But he doesn't deserve a ring. He didn't do anything for it.
Well, I like what Theo did. Theo's a stand-up guy.
And it's a nice gesture.
I
guess.
I reckon. For it.
All right. Back to the Jaguars. Hopefully we'll be talking rings this season. You're listening to Helmets and Heels built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
I always like that promo.
Kind of a longer segment when we get back. It's only a 5-minute break right here.
Okay.
You got it.
Mom told me to calm down. Stop it, Mom. So what happens when LaVar Ball brought up? Angry She-Hulk comes out.
Welcome in, guys, to Helmets and Heels. If you're just tuning in, we're here every Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m., live on Facebook, live on the radio. We got baseball going on right now. Red Sox they definitely tied up. Yeah, it is tied up. 5-5, top of the fourth. 2-2 count. God, this is the most...
Dude, I was watching the other game sometime last week. It was the 4th inning. And it was 2 hours into the game. I'm like, what These games are so long.
I'm the highlight life. I have not watched a full baseball game this entire season.
Really?
Entire season.
I've watched many.
Can't do it.
But it's hard with them. If you were to watch the Red Sox game, they're always in extra innings.
I can't.
It doesn't get over till like 12.
Someone just texted in saying be less controversial. Like, say less controversial things.
What?
About the show. Isn't that the whole point of like radio? Is being
Be less controversial. I don't. What did we say that's controversial?
Someone just disagreed with your take saying you didn't deserve a ring.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's controversial?
Yeah.
It's controversial to say somebody doesn't deserve a
LaVar.
participation trophy.
They said someone defended LaVar Ball.
All the hate coming my way. I love it.
Someone's defending LaVar Ball.
Oh, defending him?
Someone said that we were.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, this person didn't like that apparently.
Sorry about it. Thanks for
I
listening.
agree with that person.
He is going to be around for a while.
Don't you
That's-
think? That's why I'm so miserable.
You just gotta get used to it because he's unapologetic.
But
And
this is what he's great for. Now that Lakers-Celtics rivalry is back. Because I hope we
I wonder
dream
what the
them.
Lakers are gonna do though. They're gonna have to, when the season starts, like he can't be sitting courtside. You gotta put him somewhere.
I get that.
But he
What's gonna
cannot be
happen is
sitting courtside.
They'll put him in a suite, and then every 10 seconds they will show him in the suite. That's what will happen.
Yeah.
Right?
That'll happen too.
We keep on loving the Jags.
So we got some commenters. They're not exactly happy with my takes. They think that Bartman deserves a participation trophy / ring.
Trish, I like how. See, that's how you should have worded it. That's funny. That was funny.
Oh wait, I just took the computer.
The guy needs to do a damn interview. I mean, I get why he hasn't,
I
but
bet he still has death threats sent to
it's
him.
the lure of it. I mean, even that 30 for 30, like people were driving by his. He doesn't live in the house anymore, but
You
people are
should-
driving by it. His parents, I guess, still live in their own house. Like,
They probably he gets death threats of it every day. I wouldn't want to go in public.
To me,
if I was that hated.
it needs to start being prosecuted. That and I Louisville fan,
I would
but
be-
that Kentucky ref
Yeah.
that got so much
Right.
hate. If you're calling in death threats,
Right.
you deserve to be prosecuted. I don't care if it's on the internet or whatever. Like people can say outrageous. LaVar Ball says a lot of outrageous things, but death threats,
Right.
like when you start throwing those out, that's got to be prosecuted.
How much time, Tyler?
Minute 15.
Thank you.
Minute 15. Mm-hmm.
All right, what is this one? I'll call one.
We're on commercial break right now. We're coming back in a minute and 30. But if you guys like what we're doing, hit the share button, hit the like button. It really helps with the exposure of the show. If Facebook sees you guys interacting with the show, it helps us move up in the feed. A lot of people don't know, but Facebook has an algorithm where your timeline is filtered based off the interaction on a post. So if you like the post, if you share it,
Jared.
it helps us
How are
reach
you?
more people without you having to do much work.
What's going on, honey? How you doing?
What's up?
How you doing, honey?
What's up?
Sorry, that's the mama in me.
That's all good.
Sorry.
Follow JJ Dillinger. That's a wrestler.
I'm gonna charge you money now for that mention.
Oh, hey, you gonna charge me for that?
Live streams cost money.
I'm trying to get my likes up.
You get your likes up on your page. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's true. You're right.
I'll share that.
There you go. Oh, we still gotta do our
I
songs
think
too.
I think that's the winner.
Okay.
He's gonna come back with that.
I want to look up depression songs.
I'm a loser, baby. Was
See what we get.
an option. Well, just I'm a loser.
50 songs about depression. I feel like dying. By Lil Wayne.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Congratulations to the winner. The listener who picked this song, REO Speedwagon's I'm Gonna Keep On Loving You. You are going to take home a Peterbrook chocolate heel. Because you know what? As fans, that's what we do. We keep on loving our team through thick and thin. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But in the end, you would defend your team to anyone.
You know,
and that's a winner.
I Googled songs about depression just to see what would be good. And I have to say, Adam's song from Blink-182.
A song about suicide.
Well, the one line, another 6 months, I'll be unknown. I mean, come on.
Oh, no.
6 months. I mean, and no one will still be talking. So
well, there's a lot of talk about the Jaguars in 6 months about the draft.
I just like looking.
Not what's going to happen this season.
Nobody turned in REM, Everybody Hurts?
No, there was a submission.
That was a good one.
Beck, I'm a Loser. That was an option.
We also had Wind Beneath My Wings. We had that come in on Facebook.
Some of these are Green Day.
Yeah, there were some good answers with Snark. My personal favorite, I was telling Lauren this in the break, one is The Loneliest Number, because that quite possibly wins the Jaguars.
I just love that we're at a stage where we can laugh about it, where we just accept it before the season ever even starts.
And this is coming off, obviously, the huge PR faux pas that happened that all the Jags fans played off of. And
oh, no, that was such a disaster. The gift battle?
It was so much fun to read. And
it was.
And it got to a point where I think people just wanted to show something funny. I don't necessarily think everybody felt that way. But
no, it's self-depreciating humor.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, it would be great if somebody would post this video or that video. But it's not how I feel, but it was really funny, and I loved how it got national attention. I thought it was great. It was bad, but good.
It's in the social media world, that's exactly what you want. You want people talking about it, you want people sharing about it, good or bad. The Jaguars pulled the LaVar Ball.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It's certainly, if you're anyone other than the PR department, it's or the digital department, whoever runs that part of it, it's fun and funny. If that's your department and you were looking for positivity and maybe inspiring people to buy season tickets, I think that's when maybe it's not necessarily the greatest thing.
So I want to remember that we chose that song now that preseason is next week. And mid-season,
I cannot believe
let's see if that song choice changes.
That's so
Or
wild.
if it goes higher or lower.
That's the thing, though, I think about being a fan is you don't drop your team just because they start losing.
No, but your emotions might change.
You may not be as emotionally invested, absolutely. You may not be nervous before a game if you've lost 8 in a row. But I think I have to keep... It's easy to be pessimistic. I have to keep some optimism because... we are going to talk about this team for the next 4 months, whether they win or lose. We're gonna talk about them. So it's way more fun to talk about a winning team, and it's way more fun right now before any games have been played to talk about the possibility of victory.
People often will say, "Oh, well, you're just being negative for ratings." No, if you're hopeful, if your team is still kind of in it, no matter what, if you're hopeful, that's what increases. That's where you get the most ratings.
Yeah, a team being on the cusp or having an option to go into the playoffs. And obviously around here for the last few years, it's been the Jaguars are one of the first teams to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And even if they're not quite to that point, the week before, 2 weeks before, you look up and you go, okay, so this is going to be the season again. 2-14, 5-11 seems like a winning season almost. 4-12, 3-13.
We're in for it this season, but as long as you go in hope or not with unrealistic expectations. My dad says every year, I want double-digit wins. And it's like, well, I mean, it's cool to want it, but realistically, you're not going to get it. And if you go into it with that mindset, and you go in with a little bit of hope, then maybe you can get rewarded, but then at least you don't get crushed. Because last year the Raiders game crushed me. I haven't been the same fan since.
Well, and I think overall because of the Raiders, a lot of
their fan base, they took over.
Well, and because both the Jaguars and the Raiders were supposed to be on the same trajectory, and both were supposed to be potential playoff contenders,
and we got carved.
And the Raiders were, and the Jaguars were not. And so I think watching, I think there were a lot of games last season that could kind of cut your heart out. For me, it would probably be that Titans game.
Well, that was 5 days or 4 days after the Raiders game.
Yeah, so I think because then you at least go, all right, this is a divisional game. It's a Thursday night matchup. The Jaguars are going to bounce back. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. and instead at halftime, you've probably, at least I, had never been embarrassed.
Yeah, that was an embarrassing game.
That was embarrassing.
I think they sat all of their starters in like the fourth quarter. The Titans.
Yeah, but we got revenge.
We sure did ruin their Christmas.
So there's a new executive vice president of football operations here in Jacksonville. His name's pretty familiar, Tom Coughlin, and he has a familiar way of running organizations. One of the things that he does is he tells players to be places 5 minutes early. But what he also does, he and the staff, they set all the clocks 5 minutes early. So really, if your iPhone says that it's 8:44, which mine does right now, I had better be here at 7:44. Or wait, sorry, at 8:34 an hour.
You're already fired. Colin's already fired.
Yeah, 8:35 in order to be on time for 8:45. So players have to kind of rewire their brains if they've ever served under a different regime or if they've played here before. Even the rookies, that's not probably something they did in college. So that's one of the ways that Coughlin is making his impact felt. Also, there's a very strict assignment of what they can wear to practice. It has to be black cleats and it has to be white sleeves and very different than in the past. Also, Telvin Smith was surprised when he got to camp this year. You're not able to wear a visor that has any sort of tint to it, whereas before he could do that. So there's lots of little subtle changes, hence why my song choice for the Jaguar season was All the Small Things by Blink-182, because I do think that Tom Coughlin builds his process based off of all the very, very small things that all will add up to the team comes together, the team knows how to go about their business, and they do treat all of this like a business. All that being said, can all the small things really add up to victories?
I think if the players embrace it and they know how to create it as something unified to make that fun. Look, it's clear that wherever he goes, he wins. It worked here earlier in the years. He drafted very well. He created a dominant team here, and unfortunately, it worked in New York. But I think I love what he's doing. I would thrive with a leadership like his because I want everything in order. I want someone to tell me, look, I only want it 3 different ways, and that's it. No other way. Perfect. Now I know what to do. I like it. There's no mistakes. If I make a mistake, I know it's on my own. So if you can embrace that and understand, like, there's a whole new regime, and it's completely different than the losing regime, then you should embrace it and you should be happy.
Smart people know that the devil's in the details. And if Tom Coughlin is addressing all of these small things, then I think it can only translate to on the field. Because I think the Jaguars have led in penalties and turnovers, or one of the top 5 teams as far as those 2 things are concerned, in the league. And if we can correct everything else, and that to me is another one of those correctable mistakes that we can see a positive on the field. If he's addressing all of these details that are off the field, kind of off the field, then on the field it's going to be the same story.
Now, are we allowed to report? I know there's only so many things you're allowed to report from camp. Are you allowed to say whether someone did something bad and had to run laps or got kicked out of practice? Anything like that?
Well, we haven't seen that, so whether or not we could report it would be, I guess, it would depend on the situation. For instance, you brought up earlier today, Donna, how at the Patriots practice, Stephon Gilmore was kicked out of practice, and Julian Edelman for getting into a little skirmish, right? So obviously that was able to be reported. So I would assume that other things.
But that's what I want to know. Like I get to find out when someone's running laps. Like Garoppolo had to run laps because he threw an interception. Like I want to, like Bortles would be running
practice.
That's on practice. That's what I want to know. Like I want to know if he is that diligent, if he is that demanding.
You're probably not going to see, because you only get a certain amount of time allotted to be with the players doing drills. I don't think you're going to see them send a player off to run especially when it's your quarterback and you want him to be taking snaps and getting reps with whether it's the first team or the second team. However, I can tell you that if a defender, whether it be a linebacker or a defensive back, if they get their hands on a football and they don't catch it, right, if they don't intercept the football, they have to do 10 push-ups.
Okay, so they do have something
in
place.
So there's certain things in place, right. Now, obviously in the middle of Saturday night's practice when Blake was throwing interceptions.
Right, that's not going to happen.
Right, he wasn't sent off to go do stadiums at Everbank and things like that. But I would assume that there are maybe not physical repercussions from things like that, but I would guarantee that Tom Coughlin would step in. I tweeted a picture today of Tom Coughlin discussing some things with Blake Bortles right after an 11-11 session. And you could tell just by Tom's body language that he wants more from him. So I'm sure that they're sending Blake to different, whether it be kind of like scheme-oriented playbook sessions or whether it be, like film room stuff, whether it be almost like something that I would recommend, which is just meditating and visualizing. You know, they say that a lot of successful people, and certainly I was watching over the weekend, Terrell Davis was talking about how on the football field, such a great running back, he would visualize exactly what he would do in order to cut through and go downfield, and it takes that like mental clarity in order to get done exactly what you're envisioning. So that's almost something that I would recommend for Blake. Like after you throw an interception, walk away, spend like 5 seconds, or if obviously not the other team has the ball, you have a little bit more time. Spend like a minute in your zone, whatever it takes to get back to your happy place where you forgot that happened, you're back, you know, because I feel like a lot of times one pick leads to another pick, leads to another pick.
It's a mental issue with him, for sure.
That could have been the song. One thing leads to it.
Yeah, absolutely. But so the other interesting part, and I think it was Dan Graziano who wrote this for NFL.com, wrote about how Tom Coughlin is still embracing his new role, how the coach Tom Coughlin is obviously still in there and he's still learning the executive part of it. So what will he do during games? During practices, I can tell you, he is on the field. As I just mentioned, he was talking to Blake. He's certainly telling Doug Marrone, the head coach, things he likes, things he doesn't like. But when an actual game comes down to it, if there's 2 minutes left and the Jaguars are driving, or if the Jaguars have only one timeout and there's 5 minutes left, at that point, what is going to go through his head, and is he going to have that self-restraint not to be the coach in those final minutes?
Is he going to be on the sideline?
From what we hear, he'll be in a press box, or not in the press box, but in probably a box,
coach's box or something.
But I don't know exactly how he'll feel once all that starts to happen, because your whole life you're one thing. It's not like that's a switch you can turn off.
I think immediately following the game, when they go right into the film room after everybody leaves, he will tell Doug Marrone, this is what I did not like. Hopefully it is, you did a brilliant job and exactly what I would have done, and it's not the latter, but we'll see.
And Tom Coughlin certainly said that if there's anything from the game that he doesn't like, if they lose, he's not going to go to Doug Marrone that night and say, you know, blah, 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 that was awful. Because he understands as a head coach, you put all the pressure on yourself anyway. You certainly don't want somebody looking over your shoulder at that point. But he does understand that right now he has a lot to offer, not just opinions, but certainly experience with players. And so he wants to be able to share that with Doug, and he has to know when to do that and when to leave him alone. But certainly the first thing that we've seen that's not gone right under Tom Coughlin would be Brandon Albert deciding to retire instead of
play. And that's
play.
not on him. I wouldn't take on him.
But it does.
You still got to take it as a loss.
Yeah, it doesn't start the regime off the way that you wanted it to. You wanted Brandon Albert to be your left tackle if you traded for him, even though you got the pick back. Still, it's not the ideal situation.
Right.
But hopefully, not next week, but in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about a preseason victory over the Patriots. Right, Donna? That's what you'll be hoping for?
You're optimistic.
Who do we see in that game?
That's where hope thrives.
A lot of Jimmy
July
Garoppolo.
and August for Jaguar fans.
Can't go wrong.
All right. Well, the Jaguars do travel up to the Patriots training camp this Sunday, and we'll be listening along and looking all at Twitter while they're up there.
Take lots of notes, players.
Lots of notes.
And we'll have a good old time.
Eat lots of chowder.
You got that right. For Donna Murphy, for Bled Brumley, and for Tyler Devitt, I'm Lauren Brooks. Everybody stay tuned for Hacker After Dark. That's coming up next. Until next week, it's been another edition of Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinder Sons.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here next Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Thanks for watching.